Hey, Culz Paranormal fans. This week we're checking out Deck Z, The Titanic, Unsinkable and Undead by Chris Pauls and Matt Solomon. Now, the Titanic sinks. So yes, the Titanic does sink, but much like Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, which added vampires to the Civil War, Titanic adds a twist to already known story, which is zombies. Zombies aboard the Titanic. Now, if you look into Culz Paranormal, we're actually big Titanic fans. We've been researching the ship and reading everything, watching everything since we were all very little. Mark actually got to meet Robert Ballard. And on Colin and me's side, we may actually have had some family members that unfortunately did not make it, but were on the Titanic. Now, what is the story about? It's about Theodore Weiss, who is a German scientist studying the bubonic plague which had claimed his sister's life. Now, while studying this new strain of this plague, he finds out that it actually turns its inhabitants into mindless, flesh-eating zombies. Now, he doesn't call it zombies at first, it's called monsters, and kind of like a living dead. They don't say zombies until Captain Smith actually says after he's kind of studying this plague, he tries to discover a cure. He's researching a cure, and he finds out the German army actually wants to use it as a mass weapon. And so in order to not let that happen, not let it fall into the wrong hands, he has to burn down his laboratory and actually flee the country, which his plan is to go to America aboard the Titanic, which he feels like is going to be the safest route, which if anything, it'd probably have been safer to go on a much smaller boat where they probably wouldn't have thought he would have gone. But that's where he goes. Now, Germany does send off a spy to kind of retrieve the vial, which he does pretty early on in the book, and then there's up to both Lou later on, but the main character Weiss, to retrieve it so that it doesn't reach America and get delivered to the wrong hands. He wants to try to find a cure for it. Now, the captain, Thomas Andrews, Bruce Ismay, don't believe him. And eventually they find out he's right. There are zombies on the Titanic. And they call it Deck Z. It's one of the lower decks. They call it that way because of the zombies. Thomas Andrews says it's Deck Z. And it's up to them to kind of battle the plague of zombies. Thomas Andrews, Captain Smith, Weiss, and Lou. Which they do. They trap them down on the deck. And unfortunately, life's icy fates come in and the Titanic does hit the iceberg, which unleashes the plague of zombies. Now, is this a great piece of writing? Is it the next Odyssey? The next Divine Comedy? No. It has its flaws. Now, the beginning, it felt rushed. Definitely wanted to get to the Titanic faster, not build the character like I feel they should have. Now, the other characters, Andrews, Captain Smith, Bruce Ismay, not being as full-fledged is okay, because after over 100 years of most books ever written about a shipwreck, we kind of know who they are by now. But Lou and Weiss, it would have been good to see them a little bit more talked about, more developed. And the writing in the beginning, like I said, was kind of rough. It does get a little bit better throughout. And now it's not horrible, horrible writing. Obviously, I was able to finish it. And with good writing, I could definitely rate this probably around an 8. But the way it is, I'm going to rate it about a 6.4 out of 10. So, not a horrible book. Anything above 6 is a book I probably would be able to pick up and read again. So yeah, check it out. If you've read it, let us know what you think. Deck Z, The Titanic, Unsinkable, Undead.